Welcome to another episode of Conversations Over Coffee. In this episode, we're going to give you 3 really simple ways that you can live simpler. Now, if you're brand new here at the channel, first of all, thank you so much for stopping by. The reason that we do Conversations Over Coffee is really to kind of begin a conversation or begin a dialogue about faith or about anything. Questions that you might ask someone if you're kind of having a cup of coffee. And one of the questions today comes from this observation. The question is how do you live a simpler life? When you look at the life of Jesus, you notice that one thing that Jesus lived was a very simple life. Every time he moved from town to town, he didn't need to get a rental truck. He didn't need to get a whole bunch of horses to cart his gear. He lived a very simple life. And if you're interested in exploring what we talk about in this video a little bit further, there's another video up here. And in that video, one of our friends, Jason, talks about in a little bit more detail how you can begin to live a simple life. But here's 3 really simple ways to do that. And I'm going to start with the easiest and work through to the more challenging. The first way to live a simpler life is simply to clean out your wardrobe. All of us, so many of us have clothes that we don't wear. And if you want to think of one simple way to do that, here's what you do. You get your clothes on your hanger and you turn them the opposite way in your wardrobe. And then over the course of a month or 6 weeks, every time you wear that an item of clothing, you hang it up the normal way. Then what you do is you go through the end of that month or 6 weeks and you see which hangers are still facing the wrong way. And then you get rid of those clothes. Now here's item number 2, right? Because I know some of you are like, Chris, I don't want to get rid of those clothes. But you can make a little bit of money on a side hustle if you want to. And the second thing you do is you take those clothes that you don't wear anymore and you sell them on Facebook Marketplace. But not just that as well. Think through those DVDs that you own, those books that you own, just stuff in general. Maybe you got a shed or a junk drawer that just kind of piles up. It's time to take some of that stuff and you're probably going to have to bin some of it. You might want to give some of it away to charity, or you might want to sell some of it if it's still good quality on Facebook Marketplace. And that's a way to just live a little bit of a simpler life by getting rid of your stuff. And the third way, and I said this would be the hardest and the most challenging way. What I want you to do is I want you to get your debit card statement or your bank statement or whatever it may be, wherever you track your spending. And I want you to go through that list of things that you spend. And next to every item, I want you to put one of 2 words. Or I want you to either put a want or a need. So things like food, well, you need that. So you write next to that, need. Things like maybe a mortgage repayment or rent. Well, you need a house over your head, so that's a need. Things like the electricity. Things like school fees. Maybe that's a need. And so you write down next to that, need. Now, here's where it gets challenging is because you begin to start to write want next to things like Netflix subscription, Stan subscription. You begin to write want next to things like maybe your gym membership. You don't need that, but you'd want to have that. And you start to write want against maybe all the times that you go out. That's a want, that's a want, that's a want. It's not a need. And then you begin to see, hey, what are some of the wants in life that I could cut out so that I could live a little bit simpler financially? I could take some of the pressure off by getting rid and eliminating some of the wants, but keeping the things that you need as well. Hey, I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to find out a little bit more, you can go back to all of our other episodes of Conversations Over Coffee. Other than that, if you've liked this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. And if you've got a question, you can submit your question in the description by clicking the link below. We'd love to answer your questions on an upcoming episode of Conversations Over Coffee.